The 5 articles I'm going to talk about are Strategies for Helping Parents of Young Children Address Challenging Behaviors in the Home by Zin Chai and Rebecca Lieberman Betts, Identifying Minimal Hearing Loss and Managing its Effects on Literacy Learning by Crystal L. Werfel and Allison Ezel Hendricks. The third one is going to be In Praise of the Ordinary Child by Jeffrey Kluger. The next one is Successful Transition of Students with Disabilities to 21st Century College and Careers. And the last one is How Schools Maximize Gifted Talent. Okay, so the first one is about challenging behaviors can be defined as any repeated pattern of behavior or perception of behavior that interferes with or is at risk of interfering with optimal learning or engagement in pro-social interactions with peers and adults. It is sometimes accepted that challenging behaviors serve some sort of communicative purpose, to gain access or something desired or to escape from something aversive. Challenging behaviors develop, persist, and sometimes intensify because they are working for the child in some way. Challenging behavior not only is disruptive in classroom environments, but it also can negatively affect families when children demonstrate persistent challenging behavior in the home and community settings. Classroom teachers play an important role in helping families carry over successful classroom strategies to the home environment. Current research suggests parents are capable of providing positive behavior and support in the home to decrease challenging behavior. Parents and teachers play a huge role in the child's behavior. I like this article because it does make a lot of sense. And when you're a teacher, you're gonna see some of these issues in your classroom, and parents are going to need help. So if you see any of these, go ahead and get help and ask another teacher if you don't have enough experience, or ask the counselor for advice to get and talk to the parent about it and to see what they can do about it too, and research about it. The next article is How Schools Maximize Gifted Talent. I really like this article because it says in the article, I liked it, so there's a great myth that gifted students will be okay on their own, and it is used as a rationale for not providing services. Excellence doesn't just happen. It takes years of persistence and hard work, and those skills should be developed early in school so children aren't afraid of a challenge or a failure. Students that seem bored in schools really need a lot of challenge. They like challenge. If they're bored and you see them getting bored and not even want to do their homework anymore or classwork, ask the parent first, but to make sure it's okay, but give them maybe the next grade, it's math, give them the next grade of math that they would be doing to see if they could do it during the math time, so they're not just sitting there. It says that there are 31 states that require districts to identify gifted students and provide gifted programs, according to a report from the Jack Cook Foundation. And there are also two tests for it. There are tests. It says multiple assessments are especially important for identifying gifted students who are minorities, economically disadvantaged, or English language learners. I wrote that gifted and talented students should not be forgotten about because they are just like the children with disabilities. They need a challenge, and like the children with disabilities, they need to be caught on early so they can get so they're not behind in school, and you don't want students getting behind because they're just sitting there or not wanting to do their homework, and not you're going to have to fail them since they're not turning in anything. You want to make sure you get it done. I thought that article explained a lot, and even parents and teachers should read it because parents will understand maybe why their kids are getting bored in class, and maybe the teachers will read it and be like, oh, maybe I need to challenge them more. The next article I'm going to do is Successful Transitions of Students with Disabilities to 21st Century College and Careers. It's by June E. Gothberg, Lori Y. Peterson, Maria Peak, and Jennifer M. Sedegat. This article summarizes 2 students that have different disabilities that needs IEPs. It also explains the steps with using the triangulated gap analysis tool. The schools that use this tool are to help students prepare for successful entry into post-secondary settings. For many students, transitioning from high school to adult independent life is exciting, but it can also be daunting for some. Studies have shown the majority of high school students, including ones with disabilities, indicate that they want to attend college, university, or other post-secondary education institute. There is a process when using the triangulated gap analysis tool. The first step is to identify and record the post-secondary goal. Step 2 is to triangulate the post-secondary goal, academic content, and industry standards. Step 3 is to determine the gap. Step 4 is to identify the steps needed to close the gap. And step 5 is to develop an annual goal and instructional targets. The two students that the article is using for an example is being taken through each of the steps with their teacher. Damien is a sophomore and was excited about life after high school. He said he wanted to attend a four-year university, while Jasmine had a hard time talking with the teacher to get out what she wanted to accomplish after high school. This article was really interesting. It was well written, but a little confusing with it going back and forth from the students and the actual information. This article would be useful for more of like the special education teachers and the IEP team that creates the IEPs for the students. The general education teachers could read it if they were interested in it, because of some of the special education students go into a general education classroom at some point in their schooling, and it would be helpful for any teacher that was interested in special education, or just a parent that has a special needs child. The next article I'm doing is in praise of the ordinary child. I like this article because it talks about children who don't get enough praises. Any child likes praises because they need the praise. Even children that act out, they're the ones who need the attention and praise. And the ones that are doing good, you can always keep praising them. And it talks about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. The children can be told what to do and do it, but if they're simply doing what they are told instead of doing what they love, they'll take it only so far. Children and young teens give signs to parents when they've had enough of doing what the parents tell them to do. When children's motivation drops, that's when to back off. Parents have and need to become more accepting and supportive of what their children want to do or study. A lot of parents that are strict, that's maybe why children don't try as hard, because they're just tired of listening to their parents and they want to do what they're doing. And it talked about something about like someone who's playing football or soccer and the dad keeps telling them, you know, you're good, keep going, and they're just over it and they don't want to do it anymore. And so and this one it says saw this in his own family when his daughter says who had worked for nearly 6 years to earn her black belt in the Tang So Do martial arts program simply up and quit 6 weeks before the end. Nothing we did could convince her, the father said. They just kind of get over it because it's the parents going, hey, do this, and I've seen a lot of it myself. So just to help it, like, ask the children what they want to do and what they like to do, and then praise them for when they're doing something good, instead of, hey, you know, go do this, do that, do this, do your homework. And if they do it before you tell them, or if they do really good on their assignments at school, praise them. Don't just, and even like on the weekends, have them go take them and do something if they had a good week. Children like praises, and even young teenagers that are in middle school and high school. The last article I'm going to do is Identifying Minimal Hearing Loss and Managing Its Effects on Literacy Learning by Crystal L. Werfel and Alison Ezel Hendricks. Students who have hearing loss have been known to have difficulty learning to read and write. Minimal hearing loss, on the other hand, undiagnosed a lot, which it's undiagnosed because some students can hear, but not all the way. And so you think, oh, they're fine, they're just not wanting to hear you. It's because they have a hearing loss. It has negative effects on literacy learning. So as soon as you catch it, to get tested for it and start finding ways to help the child learn, because reading and writing is the most important part of life. And you need to know that for when you're older. And so I thought the article can help any school with children with hearing loss, and has some good information that can help schools today who may have trouble with some students in this background. This article would be useful for any teacher or parent that has students that have hearing loss, and make sure every child is tested. And like I said, reading and writing are a huge part of the world, and everyone needs to know how to do it, or the students will need help the rest of their lives with reading and writing. This article gives suggestions on how to reduce noise in schools and how to identify children with minimal hearing loss, because background noises can affect children like that too. And the 3 main courses of action for managing minimal hearing loss in schools are reducing background noise in the classroom, increasing the volume and clarity of the teacher's voice, and addressing the individual literacy needs for students with minimal hearing loss. Any teacher or parent could read this article and learn some helpful information. I like the article.